right, welcome everyone to another great episode of In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Tony Mitchell, and as you could clearly see, my wife, my beautiful wife, Sunita, she's not here on tonight because she is home taking care of the household, making sure she gets everything ready for this awesome field trip that she's going on tomorrow with our youngest son in celebration of his graduation from pre-K. So I'm holding it down tonight, but I'm not alone. I got a special guest that's going to come on later on tonight on this show. And it's a very, very special guest. His first time being on the radio show, and I'm going to just kind of keep it a little secret, and I'm going to reveal it later on. But we are definitely excited about this month of June because just like the month of May, we focused on the mothers. We did several segments focusing on the mothers, how to empower the mothers, how to provide strategies for the blended mothers, we focus on different subject areas. Now this month, we're going to focus on the fathers. Since this month, we're going to celebrate Father's Day next weekend on June I think it's June 16th. So we're going to celebrate the fathers all throughout this month. But before we get started, I just want to put out there, if you have any questions, any comments, either anyone out there on Instagram or anyone that's on Facebook Live or anyone that's watching this broadcast right now, if you have any questions, you can call into the radio station at 240-719-2560. Again, that's 240-719-2560. All right, before we get to the first topic of tonight, I'm going to do a couple of announcements to announce some of the things that we're working on. So first off, with the Perfect Family Blend, as you know, my wife, Sunita, and I, we have an organization called the Perfect Family Blend, where it's our mission to prepare, build, and nurture blended families. So with this organization, we're actually hosting a webinar. And this webinar, guess what? It's free. So on July 14th, mark your calendars, July 14th, which is on a Sunday, from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m., we're going to host a free webinar on how to implement strategies to build and keep your blended families together. Listen, this is going to be an awesome webinar. We're going to share some key elements that's going to help you to strengthen your blended family, to strengthen your marriage, and then we're going to provide some other keys that are going to make you successful. If you want any more information, go to our Facebook page, The Perfect Family Blend, or go to our Instagram page, The Perfect Family Blend, or you can check us out our website, theperfectfamilyblend.com. So that's what we have coming up for the Perfect Family Blend. Also, for our other organization, we also have a nonprofit organization called Ananias Project. And with this nonprofit organization, which is very dear to our heart, we help couples who are dealing with pregnancy and infant loss, or couples who are dealing with fertility issues. So guess what? In the month of August, on August 10th, 2019, we're going to have our second annual Begin Again brunch. And I just love this event because guess what? It says begin again. So no matter where you're at this stage in life, you can begin again. You could start over. You could reset the button. You could wipe the slate clean. You could turn over to a clean sheet of paper. You can begin again. And this definitely is a time of reflection, but it's also a time to really just look at yourself and say, I can do this. I can really move forward. I can really step out into what God has actually called me to do, because guess what? Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So this is definitely going to be an upbeat event. We're going to have music. We're going to have food. We're going to have vendors there. We're going to have key speakers. I am so excited about the speakers that's going to be there. Oh my goodness, the speakers are going to be awesome. So you definitely do not want to miss this event. And again, the Begin Again brunch for Ananias Project is August 10th, 2019 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And guess what? This event is free. So this event is free, but you do have to register in order to reserve your spot. So you could go to Begin Again Brunch 2019.eventbrite.com. Again, that's Begin Again Brunch 2019.eventbrite.com. And the address for the venue is 15920 Marlboro Pike, Upper Marlboro, Maryland 20773. So for more information on the Begin Again Brunch, of course, you could go to our Facebook page, Anais Project. You could also check us out on Instagram, Anais Project, and you could also go to our website, anaisproject.org. So those are the announcements for tonight. So now we're going to go into the subject, the first subject of tonight, which is rules of engagement for the blended family. So as many of you probably already know, and for anyone that is just now watching right now, I am a blended father. I'm a bonus dad. When I married my beautiful wife, Sunita, I didn't have any children once we got married. However, I inherited two bonus sons within our marriage, Keith and Daniel. So I instantly became a dad, and I was actually really happy to become a dad because, one, growing up, I really didn't have my father in my life. Later on, we actually did reconnect. We did become close as father and son. And I just want to point that out. It's never too late for you to build a relationship with your parents, no matter what the past history might be. You always have an opportunity to reach back and build that relationship with your parents. So never think it's ever too late. So, rules of engagement. There were some things as I was going into the marriage. There were some things that some wise counsel. I got some wise counsel. I had some great friends at that period of time that really poured into me, and they were also blended families, blended fathers as well. So they actually gave me some words and advice that really, really helped me in the transition of leaving the singlehood where it was just me and actually becoming a husband and a father in my new blended family. So I'm going to share 5 key rules of engagement for a blended father. These are for blended fathers, and it doesn't mean it's just for blended fathers that didn't have any kids. Now they're stepping into a blended family situation. This is also for fathers who may have children and they're bringing their children into the marriage as well. So five key rules of engagement. Number 1, understand the family dynamic you're about to enter and create. So let me repeat that again. Understand the family dynamic you're about to enter and create. So what does that mean? When Sunita and I were dating, I had the understanding that she had 2 sons, and that's a funny story in itself because we at the time we were both going to the same church. We were both active in the singles ministry. That's how we actually met. And I used to see her driving this gold van, and I just wondered. I said, "Well, her car must be broke down. The reason why she's driving her parents' car. I thought it was her parents' van that she was driving around, so I didn't think too much of her. I just thought, hey, she's just driving her parents' car. Then turned out, I found out that she actually owned the van. So I was just like, oh, okay, she actually owns the van. Okay, that's nothing to it. I mean, hey, what's wrong with driving a van? And then she mentioned but it kind of was like, okay, she's driving a van. How many kids does she have if she's driving a van? But once I got to really know her, I found out that she had 2 sons, and that didn't stop me from pursuing her, and it didn't stop me from actually trying to build a relationship with her because I had a basic understanding of the dynamics. I had a basic understanding of what I was actually getting to embark upon. So she didn't try to hide it. She didn't try to keep it on the wraps. I will mention that even though we started the initial dating phases and we were starting to develop in our relationship, it was a period of time that I didn't actually meet Keith and Daniel. And I just want to advise that to the women. if you have children or a child and you're dating someone, make sure that you don't hastily introduce that child to that man, because one, you need to make sure you check him out. And then two, you need to make sure that you know what his intentions are based on you. He might be interested in you, but he might not be interested in becoming a father. He might not be interested in actually taking care of your children or your child. Some men, I say this, being a blended father takes a special anointing. Not everyone can do it. Not everyone can be a blended mother, but definitely not everyone can. Not every man can accept the fact of being a blended father, being a bonus dad. So you just want to make sure, ladies, that you cover your bases before you introduce that man to your kids. Now, fellas, on the other end, if you're going into a situation and you know for a fact that she has a child or has children and you know that's not your lane, do her a favor. Don't even try to go that route. Don't even try to pursue it. Stop where you are and just let her know what your true intentions are. Have that understanding, because it's going to be revealed to you sooner or later, the whole situation. So have a clear understanding of what you're about to step into. And then if you're going along that dating process and you're actually really getting serious to the point that you're either going to become engaged or you're actually going to be in that situation where you're about to walk down the aisle to become married, you want to make sure that you understand what you're about to create. You're about to create a beautiful blended family. And blended families, they are starting to become the norm, not only in the U.S., but all across the world. When you just think about the U.S., 1,300 blended families are created every single day. 1,300 blended families are created every single day. So blended families are becoming the norm. They're becoming a standard. They're becoming something that's commonplace within the family dynamics. And just because you have different things that's coming together doesn't mean that you can't blend successfully. That's when understanding the situation you're about to embark upon, having a clear understanding, knowing how all the family dynamics work out with the co-parents, with the grand co-parents, with her parents, with your parents, making sure you understand what you're about to create will help you so much in their rules of engagement of being a great blended father, of being a great bonus dad. So that's number one of the rules of engagement. Understand the family dynamic you're about to enter and create. Rule of engagement number two is your role is to be a father figure, not replace the biological father. Let me say that again. Your role as a blended father, your role as a bonus dad is to be a father figure and not to replace the biological father. So what do I mean by this? So my two bonus sons, they have their own respective biological father. I cannot replace their biological father. I can't. But I am a father figure to both of them, meaning they have not only their biological dad, but they also have their bonus dad. There's, I mean, from a birthing blood relationship, hey, I might not birth them in the process. However, when you look at them and when we're out together, you cannot tell that they're not not my true sons, because I always said they're my sons. From day one, these are my boys, these are my sons. I never called them stepsons, ever. I never said that because I adopted them as my own. Now, not trying to replace their biological father, I do encourage both of them to build a relationship with their biological fathers, because that's only right, first of all. And then, second of all, just to ensure that they're getting loving in some form or fashion. They're getting loving for both directions. Because I look at myself, I'm a blended son, because I have a blended mother. My father married my blended mom, my bonus mom, and I'm a blended son in that aspect. So I know how it is to not only show love to my biological mom, but I also know how to show love to my blended mom, my bonus mom. So I encourage that between the both of them. Now, in some instances, however your blended family is made up, however your dynamic is, the biological father might not be in the picture at all. So that might make you the de facto father. And the one thing I always emphasize is I never try to push titles upon them. I never tried to do that. I can remember, and we shared this story before, but I can remember Keith and Daniel going up to one of the rooms, having the discussion of what are they actually going to call me. And they came back and they agreed. They said they're going to call me Tony. So, hey, I was fine with that because guess what? A title does not define who I am. A title didn't mean, oh, because you're not going to call me dad, then I'm not really going to do anything for you. I'm just going to just be here. No, that didn't mean that at all because I understood that they already have a dad. They already have someone they call dad, someone who they could call father. I'm going to be the best father figure that's going to help them mold them, that's going to provide guidance, that's going to help them to be prepared for life as a young man stepping out into the world. So I'm going to make sure they have all the tools they need. I'm going to make sure they have all the resources they need. I'm going to make sure that they have all the guidance that they need. I'm going to pour wisdom into them, make sure that they don't make the mistakes that I made when I was young at their age. I'm going to do everything I can in that fatherly role to make sure that they are prepared to keep the legacy alive within not only just my family, but also their father's legacy as well. So, again, the title didn't define me, but then it didn't change the responsibility that I took upon myself. It didn't change the responsibility. It didn't change the love that I have for them. So, blended fathers, bonus dads, don't look at a title. Don't look at for certain things to be catered to you because guess what? It's not about you. That's a bonus tip. Blended fathers, blended dads. It's not about you. You have to think about the well-being and you have to think about the well-being of your bonus child or your bonus children. Just as you might have the best interest at heart for your own biological children, you gotta have the best interest for your bonus children as well. I treat every one of my kids the same all across the board, and there's no partiality in that relationship with each one of them. So that's rules of engagement number 2. Rule of engagement number 3, and this is very important. Be intentional about what you say and what you do. I'm going to say that again. Rules of engagement number 3, be intentional about what you say and what you do. So from the very beginning when I got introduced to Keith and Daniel and Sunita and I were engaged to be married, if I said I was going to be somewhere, I made sure I was there. If they asked me to do something, I made sure I did it. If they wanted me to do X, Y, and Z, or if I said, hey, I'm going to take you to X, Y, and Z, or I'm going to take you to this place, I made sure I followed through. Being intentional means you have to, one, build the relationship with your bonus children. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to all of a sudden be the push of a button. And guess what? It might be a situation where you will get pushback from your bonus child or from your bonus children because they don't like the current dynamic that is about to take place. So as a bonus dad, as a blended father, you have to be intentional. You have to love your kids. You have to love your bonus children with all your heart. And if you say you're going to do something, you have to make sure that you follow through because guess what? Your actions speak for itself. My grandmother used to say Don't just talk about it. Let your work speak for itself, because people can deny what you say all day long, but if they look, they can't deny the work that you put in. So put the work in. Try to build those relationships as early as possible. Try to build those relationships as quickly as possible. Make sure that you're fully engaged. Make sure that you're not doing it just for selfish ambition. Make sure you're not doing it just to get brownie points with the mother. Make sure that what you're doing it from the heart. Because guess what? Your bonus kids will pick up on that very, very easy, and they'll pick up on it very quick. They'll know whether or not you're really being sincere in what you're doing or if you're just being fake. So you just want to make sure that everything that you say and everything that you do, you make sure you're doing it from the heart and you're doing it with all sincerity. So that's rule of engagement number 3. Be intentional about what you say and about what you do. Number 4 of the rules in engagement, communicate your feelings. Never make assumptions. Again, rules in engagement number 4, communicate your feelings and never make assumptions. I can remember there's a situation where Sunita and I, we had an issue with one of the co-parents, and it was an issue that was really, really bugging me. It was really getting at me. But I kept it internal to myself because I didn't want to, in my opinion, I didn't want to cause any trouble. So, what did I do? Eventually, it started to eat at me. Eventually, it started to really just burn me up on the inside. It really started to make me angry on the inside. So, and I was starting to make assumptions that after everything was settled, they weren't really true in what I was assuming. So what did I actually do? It got to the point where I finally just talked with Sunita. I expressed how I was really feeling about that particular situation, about the communication that was going on between her and the co-parent. And then we worked out a strategy. We worked out a plan. We incorporated the co-parent, and then everything worked out smoothly. So, but what if I just kept that internal to myself and continued to make assumptions? That would have been detrimental not only for my own marriage, but that also would have been detrimental for my son and his relationship with his dad. So, never, never, never keep your feelings internal. Always communicate your feelings. If you're unsure about something, ask, communicate it, talk about it. Because guess what? The last thing you want to do is assume that something is one way when it is totally different on the other side of the spectrum. You might be thinking one thing, but everyone else around you is totally thinking about something else. So, definitely, definitely, definitely communicate, 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 and never make assumptions. So that's rules of engagement number 4. And then the 5th and final rule of engagement for a blended father or bonus dads is don't allow your feelings to dictate your relationship with the co-parent. Let me say that again. Don't allow your feelings to dictate your relationship with the co-parent. I myself am a work in progress. I'm not going to sit here and act like I had it all together when Sunita and I got married, and I'm not going to sit here now to act like I have it all together. With the two co-parents, one relationship it never just really materialized. However, the other relationship with the blended father, I just really didn't have a great relationship at all. And to be honest with you, I wasn't even trying to build a relationship with the co-parent. And I allowed my feelings to get in the way of trying to build a workable relationship. I wasn't even trying to budge. And it was just because for me and my feelings, I believe that this co-parent should have been doing certain things and that co-parent wasn't meeting the standards in which I placed upon them. But guess what? That co-parent didn't even know that I had these standards in place that he had to measure up to. So I'm harboring all these feelings. I'm harboring all this anger. I'm harboring all this discontent within myself. And guess what? The co-parent is not aware of the situation, and I'm not making it any easy for him to actually establish a relationship with me, because I put this wall up, I put this barrier up, and I wasn't even trying to allow him to even have a crack in the wall that I actually built up. But lo and behold, one day the Lord convicted me of what I was actually doing, and I just saw I was just totally in the wrong. So I started to make an effort to really try to tear down the wall that I had built up and actually try to build a relationship with the co-parent. It's not totally perfect now, but at least it's far better than what it was at first. It is definitely at a level where we can speak to each other. And this co-parent actually participated in our conference last year. So that was a breakthrough in itself. But guess what? If I still harbored those feelings, those bad feelings towards the co-parent, and that wouldn't happen. So please put your feelings in check. Really, truly ask yourself, why do you have the feelings that you have in the first place? And you might find out that the feelings that you have towards this co-parent aren't even worth the energy the negative energy that you're putting in to try to not like this co-parent. So, and again, always go back to your spouse and your wife and try to communicate what exactly is it that is going on that has caused you to have these feelings. And then I also want to point out, don't allow your feelings to dictate your feelings with your bonus kids. Your bonus kids, they might not see you right now at that point. They might not see you as a person they want in their life right at that particular instance. However, you just want to make sure that you don't have any bad feelings towards your bonus kids, because guess what? Your bonus kids are going to pick that up as well. So those are the 5 rules of engagement. I'm going to go over them once again. Rule number 1, understand the family dynamic you're about to enter and create. Rule of engagement number 2, your role is to be a father figure, not to replace the biological father. Number 3, be intentional about what you say and what you do. Number 4, communicate your feelings and never make assumptions. And then rule of engagement number 5, don't allow your feelings to dictate your relationship with the co-parent. So that's the first segment of tonight. We're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then I'm going to bring on my special guest on tonight, my son, Daniel. He's going to come on, and he is going to share his experience of being in a blended family. So don't turn away. Stay on. We'll be back in the next 5 minutes. right, welcome back to In the Mix with the Mitchells. I am Tony Mitchell, and we are joined right now. I'm joined right now by a very, very special guest, my son, Daniel. Let's give it up for Daniel. Woo! He's a little shy, but he'll be all right. So, this is we talk about so much. We talk about Keith, we talk about Dan, we talk about Ari, Sam. Of course, we talk about Naya. But it's all, it was just good to actually bring one of our kids on the show in person so they could actually interact and actually talk about their experience being in a blended family. So definitely, I am so happy that he is on right now. So I'm just going to ask you some real simple questions, nothing real deep, nothing real serious. This is all about how you feel. So feel free to express how you feel about it. No judgment whatsoever. You're not going to get in trouble for anything that you say. So feel free to say what you want to say, all right? All right. So I just want to ask you, being in a blended family, so you have your biological dad, and then you have me in the picture. So how do you feel about, and you're actually staying with us. You stay with us the majority, all the time. So how do you feel about being in our family dynamic?
Let's say it feels like a normal family to me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just two dads still. So I mean, it's nothing that different.
Nothing that different?
No.
So what are some things that I do within our family that you really like, and what are some things that you see that your dad does that you really like, and do you see like you want both of them to be combined together, or, well, let's just start with that. So what are some things you like that I do, and then what are some things you like what your dad does?
Well, you both try to spend time with me and do the thing. Well, sometimes do the things I like to do. So that's like one thing I like. But I guess one thing that you do that I enjoy is that well, we do a lot, but I'd say that you spend a lot of time with me, and that when we do, it's always fun. So that's one thing I like.
Oh, I promise I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry on this show. I promise you, I'm not gonna cry. I try not to. Try not to. So I know one of the things that I know when I was dating your mom, and then we got engaged, and then eventually got married. I know that you was real young. You was like 6, I think, 5 going on 6, or 6 going on 7, something like that. But when I first met you, I was just like, oh, he's a little bitty type. He's a little bitty thing. So, and then to see you grow up throughout the whole, throughout the years up to the point now that you're about to be a senior in high school. Oh my goodness. About to be a senior in high school. I can't believe it. But what are some of the things that, because it was at a point where, Keith was coming in and out before he stayed with us for a while. And it was almost like it was just you in the process. So you was getting all the attention. So, and then, of course, your 2 younger siblings came on board. So how do you feel now that you're the big brother in the house, with 2 siblings? How do you feel about that?
I don't really know how to describe it, but I know I just kind of do the same thing my older brother did to me sometimes, and just kind of just play around with them when I have to, or when they just want to, and I just feel like hanging out with them.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess.
Yeah. So one of the things that would be helpful for people that watch this show, especially for the bonus kids, one of the things would be helpful that you could, if you could provide like one or two tips on how to make sure that the bonus parent is comfortable with the relationship. So, what were some of the things that you did that helped make my life a lot easier?
Well, I guess I tried just being comfortable around you when I talk to you, and just make it obvious that I'm enjoying my time. So you wouldn't just feel like that I'm just hanging out with you because I have to, and not because I wanted to.
Yeah, that's good. And I know for me, it was an adjustment for me because I was coming in. I never had the experience of being a dad before, and all of a sudden, I'm a dad now. So, what were some of the things that I did when me and your mom got married? What were some of the things that I did, or even before we all became a blended family? What were some of the things that I did to kind of help ease your concerns, so to speak, of what you was about to enter or what you was about to become a part of?
Well, I don't remember it that much because, like you said, I was small, little, when I first met you. But I would probably say that, like I also said earlier, that you hung out with us, so I can get used to you being around. And it wasn't like too much that it seemed like you were trying to force it or anything. So it was just like natural.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So I know, I know. Also for me, and one of the things that really was a touching moment for me was I think it was your first year at Woodstream. Your first year at Woodstream, and at that time,
10th grade.
Yeah, I think it was your 10th grade year, and I was picking you up, and I actually had to come in and check in because I don't know what happened, but I had to actually come in and check you out to pick you up at the Sports and Learning Center. And I can remember so clearly, I came and one of your classmates asked, "Hey, who's that?" And you was like, "Oh, that's my dad." And I didn't let you know then, but I started crying. I was crying. I was boo-hooing. I was like, "Oh, he see me as a dad." I was really crying. I was just like, I was done. I was so done. So, with that, how do you see, now, over the years, because it's basically been 11 years since I've known you, and then it's been 10 years since almost 10 years since Anita and I've been married. So how do you feel about our relationship today, as so to speak?
I'd say that it's just like a regular father-son thing, just as if you were my dad the whole time, basically.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, I'm trying to keep it in. I'm trying to keep it in. But I know for me, and one of the things, and I just said this earlier as part of the show, is that as bonus dads, as blended fathers, you shouldn't get caught up on titles. Because you call me Tony, and I don't have no issues with that whatsoever. Calling me Tony, but at the same time, it's like when people ask you who I am, you say, "Oh, that's my dad." And I think that's a more organic thing that happened. It wasn't like I pushed that upon you. It wasn't that I forced that upon you. You did that on your own. That was your own thing, and that's one of the things that really lets me know that what I've done. I haven't been perfect. I haven't done everything right. I haven't crossed every T and dot every I. There's still some room for improvement that I could still use, in helping to raise you, even now. But at the same time, it helps me to know that at least I've done enough of the right things to have a great, loving relationship with you. So that's just one of the things that I'm really, really proud of. Not only just proud of you and everything that you've accomplished, but I'm proud of the fact that you could look to me as a father and know that without a shadow of doubt that if you need anything, I'm going to be there for you. So that means a whole lot. So with that, I ask you this question. So what are some things, from being in a blended family, what are some of the things that you would say families should do in order to be happy together?
Well, I'd say to hang out together.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, hanging out together. So that's basically the one thing. Or just going one by one, having time together, doing something that you both equally like to do. Like how we both like watching Marvel movies. So that's one thing. So, or just going out somewhere fun, like laser tag, something, bowling, anything like that. Just spending time together, basically.
Yeah, that's one of the key things is just spending time together. And I know I can remember when we first got married and we were all in the house, and I can just remember just spending time with you in your room playing with what's those Beyblade things, Bakugan, and that toy, whatever that toy. Watching cartoons and playing the video games and just really spending time with you. And I think one of the other key things is that I feel has been very important at this point, of where our family is at is balance. Because it's you're a senior in high school and about to be, well, you are a senior in high school, and then you got your 6-year-old sister, then you got your soon-to-be 5-year-old brother, and then you got this grown 26-year-old that's out doing his thing, and just trying to find a balance to just spend time, make sure we spend equal amount of time with each and every one of you. That's so important, and we're working to do more of the spending more one-on-one time with you. I already met you. I got a surprise for you for our one-on-one time, so I think you'll like it. But it's definitely coming up for our one-on-one. You're the next one up, so get ready for that. But with that, I think I had the question in my mind, but it just left me all of a sudden. It'll do that to you. You'll be on this show, you'll think of something, and all of a sudden you'll forget about what you was about to say. Let's see. What? Oh, okay. I got it. So, with a relationship, with being in a blended family, how do you express how you're feeling? Because I think that's very important as a child, regardless if you're a bonus child or a biological child, you're still a child in the family. And children, just as much as the husband, just as much as the wife, has as much say-so as to how the current environment is within the family as anybody else because you're a key stakeholder in that process. So, how do you feel like you have a voice to really truly express how you feel? Or is it something that Sneed and I need to work on to make sure that you have a voice, that you can say what you want to say and say it freely?
Well, I feel like I have a voice because I know that you guys always ask me how I feel about something. Like, like when we were looking for a church to go to, each time we went to a new one, you'd always ask me how I felt about it, and I never really knew how to answer it though. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I can say something and like have my own voice in something. So I mean, I just feel like you just say it and it'll be heard.
Okay. Yeah, we try our best, because right now you are a young adult and you're about to be 18. Oh my goodness. So that means, you're going to have not only more responsibility as far as in our family, but you're going to have more responsibility because you're about to embark upon graduating high school and then going to college and then prepping yourself for what's going to come down the road. So one of the key things that we always want to make sure is that you have a voice in the family. So I ask you this question. If a bonus child feels like they don't have a voice in their family, what are some of the things that bonus child can do to tell their parents, hey, this is how I'm feeling. I really want you to hear me out. This is what I'm really thinking right now.
I would say probably just get the two parents together, or if you're comfortable just speaking to one of them at a time, just get either one of them at a time or both of them together and just express how you feel about and let them know. And hopefully they'll listen. But I know you guys will listen.
Yeah, that's actually good. And then I want to caveat that. I want to add to it. Parents, when your child comes to you and expresses how they feel, don't dismiss their feelings. It doesn't matter how old they are. They could be very young or they could be teenagers, young adults. Don't dismiss their feelings. If they're coming to you, just like Daniel said, if they're coming to both of you and they're expressing how they feel about a particular situation, or they're expressing how they feel the dynamics are going within your family, listen to them. Hear them out. Don't make any assumptions as to what you think they're actually saying. Really, truly be intentional in listening to what they're saying, and then communicate back to them what you heard. And once you communicate back what you heard from them, come up with a plan, come up with a solution to incorporate what they actually said. Because again, you want to make sure that everyone's voice is being heard. You want to make sure everyone is involved in the family. And you don't want your bonus children or any child in your family to feel like they're ostracized. You don't want them to feel like they're an outsider, that their voices don't matter. Because you look at this day and time in life, depression is real. You look at the suicide rates, particularly with teenagers, it's very real. So you want to make sure that you hear your kids out, and you want to make sure that you clearly understand where they're coming from in that process. So with that, I think we got time for possibly one more question. So with that, being in the blended family, having the bonus dad, having your biological dad, what is the one key thing that you can give? What's that one good nugget, one good piece of advice that you could give out to our audience on tonight that would say, hey, you can't be successful in a blended family? Because you could be successful if you do what?
I would probably say you can be successful if you all just come together, spend time together. So, I mean, yeah, that's about all I think of. So.
All right, and that's all you really need is to come together. And that's the whole part of the blending process. And guess what? The blending process is a continuous process. You're never going to be just all the way blended at one point and then the blending process stops. No, the blending process is continuing. You have to continue to work on it. One of the posts that I said today is just like you take your car to the mechanic to get it maintenance, your blended family also needs maintenance. So you have to make sure that you obtain the tools. You have to make sure that you obtain the knowledge and the understanding of how to continue to provide that perfect mix within your blended family to make sure that it's successful, that it's growing, and that it's a very loving and nurturing environment. So with that, I just want to thank my son Daniel for being on the show on tonight for another great episode of In the Mix with the Mitchells. You can catch us here every Thursday at 9:15 Eastern Standard Time. You can also check us out on Instagram. We're on Instagram, The Perfect Family Blend. And you can check out our Facebook page, The Perfect Family Blend. And also you can go to our website, theperfectfamilyblend.com. So we truly, truly thank you for joining us on tonight. God bless. And we will see you in 2 weeks because we won't be here next week, but we will be right back after the holiday season. Thank you so much. God bless. Take care. Be safe.